All right, guys, we are going to give this a shot. I'm outside my backyard, so I'm not sure how the microphone and everything else is going to work. Hopefully it takes. If it doesn't, I don't know what else to say, but this probably should have been out a little bit earlier, but we're going to go through it anyways. It's the setups for the month of July using the Strat. Not going to talk about much else except for that. We'll go through some of the plays that have hit already, some of the plays that are haven't hit yet, and some of the plays that didn't work. So we can start off as we go through here with CRM. So CRM had that inside bar on the month, okay, right here. And we've already broken through the trigger and we've hit targets plus. So based on that, you guys probably should have already taken profit. I would hope that you guys, I guess you could still be sitting in this if you really wanted to, but I mean, you've hit multiple targets. You've hit, I don't have my mouse, so this is going to be a little bit difficult. Let's see. There we go. You've hit this target on this bar, and you've hit this target on this bar as well, right here. So you've hit multiple targets on that already. As we go to CVS, same thing. I'm going to zoom in here. And we're just going to take a look at this. Inside bar, we triggered and we hit targets already, and we're still going. So if you wanted to, you could use that target. And I can put this in so you guys can see it a little better. That would have been your target, first target on the monthly. So you could use that as your stop loss if you want, or any other place above that. We look at Disney. Disney had that 3-1 set up. We hit the trigger of the inside bar. And we haven't hit this target yet, but it looks like it's continuing to go down. So you could still be in Disney on that one. Dollar Tree, same thing. We had the 2 down that finished green in June, and we've just continued to trend up. We've hit that blue line, that trigger there, and we've continued to trend up on that. Give me a second here. Let's see if we are going. So Dollar Tree, same thing. So we move into DocuSign. So DocuSign, here's one that hasn't worked out. So we had the 2 up that finished red, and then we had this next bar here in July trending down. And then we started reversing right back up. So you could possibly look for a 50% rule. It's likely not going to hit it. So DocuSign would have been a flub off of those monthly plays. Now, Etsy still hasn't broken either way off of this inside bar. And if we don't hit it within the next 10 days or 11 days, then you can start looking into August as a double inside bar for Etsy. Coca-Cola, there's that outside bar that we had just talked about. So we opened, we triggered that inside bar to the downside. We passed the 50% marker of that inside bar, and then we continue to trend up. And that's how you really know. And you can go check out the videos I have on it. I have videos on how to play Sarah Strat Sniper's 50% rule. But that's exactly what happened on Coke in July. Lucid, same thing. We trended up off of the blue trigger here. We hit targets of the inside bar, and then we started to trend back down. Now, I think it's probably a little too late for it to break down into this 546 range for the month of July. But there was the setup. It hit and then retraced. We look at Lyft. So Lyft, same thing. We had a small little target off of this outside bar right here. It hit that, went up a little bit further. This is a big target to hit off of this outside bar here. We still are, I guess depending on what your strike price was, is still in this play. Maybe you took profits on it. XLV, same thing. We had an inside bar, hit targets, and retraced. If it's me, if this retraces through this first target, and I can put it in for you guys, that would have been the first target. If we retrace through that first target, I'm out of that trade. But in saying that, you see those 2 purple lines, that's our 3-month chart. So we have a double inside bar on XLV, and we're looking to break out of that as well. And we're obviously closer to breaking to the upside than to the downside. So when we go back here, this is something you could potentially maybe hold on to a little bit longer. We go into Morgan Stanley. Morgan Stanley had that inside bar. Okay, so we triggered off it. We've hit multiple targets and we're still climbing. Micron Technology, inside bar. We triggered to the downside, didn't hit targets, and then started reversing. So again, guys, these don't always, again, these plays are probability setups. So you're not always going to hit every single time. Now, not to say you couldn't have taken profits on this and had a successful trade on it, but they're not always going to hit their targets. Okay, it's probability based, every trade is. We look at Nike. So Nike, we had the 2 down green, so we were looking for it to trend up. It's still trading inside bar on Nike on the monthly chart. So nothing in force there. Procter & Gamble. So here's one where we just broke the trigger and then it reversed right away. So you would have got stuck in this one. And you would have had to find a spot where you would have wanted to get out. And you can do that on lower time frames if you want. You can use the 50% mark of the monthly, of the previous month, sorry, or you can use something like a weekly chart. Okay, so we go back to the weekly, and you can say we triggered up here in the first week in July. We bumped up and then started coming back down. You could use the 50% mark of the previous week and have been out of that trade and you would have been okay. We look at PayPal. PayPal, something that's still moving. So we had the inside bar. We triggered off of that inside bar and we haven't hit targets yet, but this is a nice move on PayPal. So you can see, guys, a lot of these have worked out on the monthly chart. Like if you would have bought these as common shares or whatever, even if it wasn't as options, common shares to the upside, a lot of these plays would have worked out. Like 69.20 to 73.02. That's a really, really nice move for PayPal there. Move on to Starbucks. Starbucks had that 2 down that finished green and it trended down, and now we've just tagged, you can see we just tagged the top there. So I would say, you know, this week is basically done. So if we're looking into next week, we can go into that weekly chart. If we look at this, we can look for this to, if it starts trending up in any manner, even if we go to the daily charts, if we see a reversal pattern here, we can look to break back in to see if on that monthly chart it'll break through and create that outside bar on Starbucks. XLU still stuck in that inside bar on the month, so closer to the top than it is to the bottom. And then XOM, we had a 2 down that finished green. We were looking for it to trend up. It trended down. So, you know, that's kind of a non-starter there. It's a no play, no setup for you on XOM. That is basically the list, guys. I know this wasn't the greatest of videos. I am outside. I found a little bit of time to try and go through this with you guys. So hopefully it was helpful. If you guys have questions, feel free to leave them down below in the comment section. Links for everything that I have or offer are in the description below. So the free Discord, any of the bots or the indicators that I have, those links are there as well. You can ask me on Twitter. You can ask me in the Discord any questions you have. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll